It is about promoting women and understanding the challenges for women, but it's not a women-only concept at all.
I do think things like Drive to Survive on Netflix has kind of opened up the world of F1 to young women. Obviously, F1 Academy, we're doing some partnership work with them as well.
To all, is there anything you inadvertently do that might put some people off, not just women, but people for whom that isn't going to work with their life? This year's theme for Women, International Women's Day is give and gain.
Yes.
And I think that's absolutely what it is. It's each of us can do something.
This episode of All Things Business, the podcast, is brought to you by our digital media partner, DFA Law. DFA Law, providers of expert and dedicated legal advice to businesses and families since 1838. DFA Law, the law firm for life.
Ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Great to be here, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
And Julie, Dr. Julie Mills, this is your debut on the podcast.
It is. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I can't believe this is the first time that we've had you on.
No, I'm delighted and thrilled to be here, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So before we go any further, many people that watch or listen to us will have heard of Dr. Julie Mills, but for those that haven't, please just introduce yourself and then we'll pass over to Chantal.
Sure, I'm Julie Mills, as Ben has said, and I am the chair of Women Leaders UK, charity based in Milton Keynes, where we strive to tackle the gender pay gap, just a tiny little ambition there, by really encouraging women into senior leadership and STEM positions and doing what we can to help that.
Follow that.
Oh, no. What a follow-on. So I'm Chantal-Lawren Welch. I'm the marketing manager for Silverstone Park. We're an advanced engineering and technology business park growing quite rapidly right next to Silverstone Circuit. And I also run the Women's Innovation Network there.
Excellent. So I can't think of two better people to have on this episode, which is obviously timely because it's International Women's Day. I think it gets bigger and bigger each year, and rightly so. But what does it mean to you when it comes around this time of year? How does it make you feel as somebody that's achieved so much in their career? If I start with you first, Julie.
Oh, thanks, Ben. I think I always get excited because I know there are going to be so many amazing events, opportunities to hear from inspiring people. Not that we need an excuse, but an excuse to network with other great men and women.
Yeah.
It's not all. It is about promoting women and understanding the challenges for women, but it's not a women-only concept at all. So I get really excited by that, and then I also get a bit frustrated that here we are in 2026 and we still have, even in this country where we've had equal opportunities legislations for coming up for 60 years, and we still have a gender pay gap and we still have an unequal workforce, not just for women, but we have some issues around inclusion and equality, and I think lots of people are doing lots of brilliant work, and I don't know an employer or an organisation that doesn't want to have a fair and inclusive workforce, and yet we still have challenges. So I get a little bit of frustration, but overall, lots of excitement about the amazing things I'm going to experience.
If I may, on the gender pay gap, do you think that that's more common with bigger organisations?
I don't think that it is, and certainly now that pay is reported, there's lots of analysis of that kind of thing. We think that the two key differences are that too few women tend to progress to senior leadership, and too few women tend to develop those higher technical skills that bring with them higher salaries. So it's difficult to unpick those things as to what's behind them. But what we try to do is offer mentoring to encourage and support women who want to develop their careers, and then also to try and expose women to the world of STEM and the opportunities that there are within it, and the world of higher skilled, technical, practical qualifications, which people typically don't think of.
Yeah. And what would your message be to ladies that, and I'm talking first-hand here because I know a number of ladies, both personally and professionally, that have climbed the career ladder, then gone and had a family, so almost taken the career sort of goes on hold, maybe in some instances maybe for 6, 7, 8 years, some not as long, but then it's almost like they don't, and I think it could almost be a confidence challenge there, because it's almost like they don't want to then go back on to climb that ladder. What would your message be to those that maybe it is the confidence But what would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Ben. It's not the same for everybody, is it? Everybody's different, and I think that self-doubt and that when you're out of the workplace for some time, it is a nervy thing to get back into it. And so to have some support, a mentor, a colleague, a sponsor, that needn't be another woman, that can be a male colleague, can make a huge difference. So I suppose my comments would be, not to panic about feeling nervous, because literally everybody does.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly normal, natural way to feel. And B, if your organisation offers support, take it. If your organisation doesn't, there are lots of other organisations that will be out there to support and help you regain your confidence and get back in there, if that's what you want to do.
And Chantal, from your perspective, International Women's Day, what does that mean to you?
I think at Silverstone Park we're in a really privileged position. I mean, we are seeing trends that are across the board. It is male dominated, but we've got some incredible women doing great stuff over there. Business leaders, lots of women in engineering, and it's just a chance for us to showcase that. So we're pulling articles together for next week about those women, and it's just a great chance for us to spotlight that in the community, because I think sometimes the women they're not got the loudest voices, especially when they are in a male dominated environment. So yeah, it's just a great excuse to kind of showcase that for us.
Yeah, Silverstone Museum's a great place, isn't it? And you've got people that come from all over to visit it, but I might have this wrong, so forgive me if I do, but I think women that work in F1, I think is something like 6%.
I'm not sure it's F1 specifically. I know in engineering,
is it high performance engineering? It might be.
Engineering is 16%,
Is
so
it 16?
still,
Okay.
still quite small.
And they came up with the initiative campaign a couple of years ago, Girls Go Free, in October, and the results on that were fantastic, because they saw a big increase naturally, as you'd hope, and it sort of gained momentum year on year. Are you seeing, because I know you've been at Silverstone Park now for a couple of years?
Yes, yeah.
Are you seeing more women working at the park, because you've got 90 residents, 90 customers?
90 business occupiers.
90 occupiers, sorry,
yeah.
forgive me for terminology. But that collectively, it's about 4,000 people, yeah?
Yeah, including the circuit and Aston Martin, about 4,000.
Yeah.
Yes, we're particularly at the younger levels, we're seeing a lot more girls coming through on apprenticeship programs, things like that. I know a lot of the F1 teams, that is a focus for them to make sure. And I do think things like Drive to Survive on Netflix has kind of opened up the world of F1 to young women. Obviously, F1 Academy, we're doing some partnership work with them as well. So it's brilliant, because I mean, that is the kind of pinnacle of engineering, but
Got to ride the wave of that.
Yeah, you got to, exactly. And I think most of Silverstone Park is the ecosystem that comes off the back of that. But if that's what it takes to kind of highlight those kind of STEM kind of opportunities for young girls, it's great. So yeah.
Julia, tell us about women's leaders, because it's, again, a bit like International Women's Day in terms of how that sort of got bigger and bigger. So is women's leaders.
Yeah, indeed. So we're entering our 11th year now of running awards. That's kind of how we started. And actually, to build on Chantal's point, it was the driving force way back then was definitely about showcasing amazing women who are already doing amazing work in all sorts of different careers, male dominated, across the board. And so the awards were born out of that, to find those invisible women, showcase them, promote them, establish them as role models to inspire other women that they can do this too. So that whole concept of see it, be it is still live and real and does make a difference. And also to encourage those women to, where they can, to get involved in other things. At that time, 11 years ago, networking was not as it is today. Today you go to a network event and it's mixed. There's men and women of all ages, all backgrounds, all industries. It wasn't like that 11 years ago. So we really wanted to encourage women to get involved in networking, join boards, develop that broader sense of skill sets. And that led us to set up the charity and kind of develop the other things that we do today. And this year, for the first year, we are extending our reach into the wider Northamptonshire and wider Buckinghamshire area. We've tended to focus on Milton Keynes and Milton Keynes postcodes. So we're really excited to be working with new partners and just extending the opportunity more broadly.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. So Give me an example of a couple of the categories for women's leaders.
Yeah, we've tried to think of everything. So we've got things like science, engineering, science and maths. We've got professional services, uniformed services, creative industries, sport and leisure, everything you can think of. We identified a few years ago, and it has been a bit of a common women's trait, that you look at a list of things and think, oh, I can do 95 of them, but I can't do those 5, so I won't apply. And it's the same with categories. I look at the categories and think, oh, I don't really fit into any of those. So we have a wild card category called none of the above. And if you don't see yourself in any of those other categories, then go for it in none of the above.
Wild card.
And we have found some amazing women in that category. And sometimes they're absolutely right. What they do doesn't fit neatly into anything. And sometimes it pretty much does, but that's fine. Yeah. So, that's one of our... we love that. We love the none of the above category.
Which lady inspired both of you?
Oh gosh, that's really interesting. Isn't it?
Maybe one in your life, opposed to maybe a woman in the public eye that you've look up to. Is there a woman? I don't know. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but I always, with my Education Awards hat on, I always say to anybody, there's always that one teacher that went above and beyond for you, that you look back on fondly. Whether it's a male or female is irrelevant, but there will always be that one teacher. We've always got that wherever we take that forward, and we shouldn't forget that's the power of education, and that's why I think education is such an important part of our lives. But is there a lady in your lives that inspired you from an early age? Well, maybe not even that early, but or even to this day.
Well, mine probably is one that I don't know personally, but it feels like I know her personally because it's a spiritual connection. It's a Christian preacher called Christine Kane, who I love. And she set up an anti-trafficking organisation when she was 40. She had absolutely no experience, but kind of felt cool to do it, and it's the biggest organisation in the world now. But she's a preacher and a speaker, and she hosts conferences, and I've listened to her for years and years, and she's just incredible. So, and
where is she? Forgive me, because I haven't heard of her before.
Yeah, I mean, where is she's Australian born, but she lives in America now. But she kind of tours all over, but she does lots of podcasts and conferences and things like that. So
I'll have to check her out.
Yeah, really interesting lady. Yeah.
Julie?
Yes, I don't have any kind of single person, but I think you're right about school and your childhood experiences. And I went to a really normal, comprehensive school. I grew up in Luton. Everything was comprehensive in Luton. Leland's High School. Shout out. Now got a very famous alumni, Miles Smith, I'm sure you've heard of. Yeah, he and I went to the same school, maybe not quite the same time, because I think he's about 25 and I'm not. So, but the school's still standing. And actually one of its claims to fame was we were once on the front page of the Daily Mail because kids were arrested around the back of the bike sheds for smoking dope. So it was a really good school. But I did love it, and I loved it because of the teachers, and they would... take us to different places and expose us to different things. So we did day trips to London, day trips here, there and everywhere. And those day trips were mind-blowing for me, really, in terms of seeing. We went to London and there were people begging. And, I remember one of my friends taking her packed lunch and giving it to a homeless person on the street. And we'd never seen that. And just kind of opening your eyes to the world,
reality,
to wonderful, amazing, beautiful things, but also to horrible, ugly things. Yeah. And that was really, I think...
It's really interesting that, because I've got 3 kids, 17, 14 and 6, although he's 7. 6, 7, sorry, Arthur. He's 7 on Monday, but he's 6 today. And you protect your children. You want to give them the best of everything. But then sometimes, and I've had this a number of times, where I think they haven't got a clue what's coming, because me and my wife have sort of had them in this bubble. And that's when we do go out as a family we went to London last weekend, for example. I want them to be exposed with me and obviously near them to situations like that. So then it starts a conversation, because part of me does think when they become adults, they're going to be in for a nasty shock, because there are some not so nice parts of the world. And when I say not so nice, just very, very different. And it's how they react to it and how you prepare them for it. Yeah. But there aren't as many, unfortunately, there aren't as many school trips like that nowadays because, well, for lots of different reasons, from resource and health and safety, etc., and insurances, there aren't as many school trips. So it's an interesting one.
And the curriculum was much more loose in those days. You know, it was O levels back when I did it, obviously, and you did subjects and you did topics, but the degree of freedom that schools had to be able to do other things, I think, was very different.
I met with Jordan Letts from the Saints Foundation a couple of days ago. They do amazing work, not just in Northamptonshire, but across the country now. They climbed Ben Nevis a couple of weeks ago, and there was a 28-year-old guy. He'd been in and out of prison, and hence why they're helping him on another journey now. And it was the first time he'd been out of London. And he was so overwhelmed at the top of what he could see, and he was taking pictures and videos. He cried, and as a result of that, now they're raising money to get him on a trip to Kilimanjaro at the end of the year.
Wow, incredible!
But the guy's 28, and with the exception of going in and out of prison a couple of times, he's never left London.
Yeah, you need to see outside your environment, don't you? Like, we try and bring kids up to the park because we've been running a schools program for a number of years, and for a while we were taking people into the schools, but because of the nature of work that we do, we were like, actually, we need to get them on site to kind of physically see some of this stuff happening. And I'm not talking just like the F1 glamour, forget that. I mean, we've got people that are doing like cable manufacturing, but when the students go in there and they see that firsthand and the inspirational stories, they get really inspired.
About 8 years, it was before the pandemic, so it was about 7, 8 years ago, we went to RS Components and they did a STEM Fest event. Unfortunately, I don't think they do it now, but they have something like, it was like 2,000 children over a week visited RS, and they had these different activities on for them. And when you saw the kids come off the bus and go, oh my gosh, look, there's a vending machine, and you sort of saw their reaction to it. Is this work? Like it was almost like a day out, not a day going to work. And then you go and see them having fun with these different engineers that were leading the way in terms of showing them how components are made and where these components go into and what they end up making and the journey they go on in terms of being retailed and then logistically being delivered. It was just incredible to see the penny sort of dropped with them. And that's why I'm very passionate about education and seeing what we can do. And you look at Brioche Pasquier and what they've done. 800 children have been through their factory for a tour in the last 12 months. And as a result, now they've got their first employee. Because he fell in love with the tour, wrote to Ryan, the CEO, and said that he wanted to go and work for them. And Ryan sorted out the apprenticeship with MK College, and he's now been with them 6 months, which is just fantastic.
Yeah. And I think that this year's theme for Women International Women's Day is give and gain.
Yes.
And I think that's absolutely what it is. It's each of us can do something,
so
which is
gain.
Giving an opportunity or giving a connection, or do you know what I mean, and other people gain from it. And although that's around the International Women's Day theme, that actually is just good social human practice that all workplaces and all groups benefit from. So it's a fantastic example.
Yeah.
We're Cottons Group, accountants who go beyond the numbers to support the people behind each business. Trusted across the Midlands and further afield for over 40 years, we bring clarity, confidence, and practical advice that saves you money. From tax and annual accounts to payroll, self-assessment, and buying or selling a company, we're with you at every stage. Cottons Group, real advice for real businesses. Visit cottonsgroup.com to learn more.
Chantal, tell us about Win.
Win, yeah.
I've heard lots about Win.
Yeah.
So tell me about it.
Yeah, Women's Innovation Network. So it's, as I said, it's Silverstone Park is quite similar to other areas in engineering, very male dominated. And we were just, I was going around to the businesses and meeting lots of different people and some incredible women and just saying, like, why are we not hearing more of what you're doing? And we were saying, oh, we should just get a small network going and let's see how that goes. And we kind of set up the first event, I think it was in June last year, put an invite out, thought, we're just going to invite everybody, not just restrict it to the park. We'll just say anybody who works kind of in the area, whether you're in Milton Keynes or Buckingham, you could just come down. And we had an incredible attendance and a great lineup of speakers, lots of different people from kind of apprenticeship level right through to CEOs and founders, kind of passing on their knowledge and kind of inspiring the room. And then we came to do the autumn event, and I actually linked up with Julie and said, I don't know what to do next. Like, what's the next kind of level? Like, give me some of your insights from women leaders. What's worked well? And we were discussing kind of mentoring and things like that. And it's slowly kind of evolving to say, right, what can we do next? What are those added strings? But I think just the power of having a load of women in the room, and men. There's a lot of men that come along as well, but from all different backgrounds, areas. And I think the breakout sessions where people get to kind of chat one-on-one is incredible.
So is it a couple of hours or?
Yeah, normally a morning, kind of like 9:30 till 12. The next one we're doing, I think it's because it's gained quite a lot of attention, it is with F1 Academy, which is obviously the girls' focus of F1 driving. And we've partnered with the circuit and Silverstone Technology Cluster, and we're paralleling it, if that's a word, running it simultaneously with a schools program. So we've got WIN in one room, and then we've got a schools program in the other, and then we're taking the people from WIN to volunteer and help with the schools program.
Oh, I love that. Where is this again?
That's going to be at the wing opposite the circuit.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Iconic venue.
Yeah.
And when's that taking place?
That's on the 28th of April. Yeah.
Okay. And how much is it to attend?
It's free to attend. People we'll be putting details out soon. It'll be on our website so people can.
Yeah, we'll definitely give that a push. And just tell me about the relationship with F1 Academy.
Yeah.
And in actual fact, educate us about what is the F1 Academy.
So F1 Academy is basically the female side of F1 driving. So it's focused on getting young and women into kind of that motorsport side, and they are incredible drivers. So it's kind of getting them up through the ranks so that they can kind of compete in F1. It's its own entity, but it does a lot of outreach stuff to kind of work with girls in STEM. And I think that's why they approached us, because they were like, we can see you've got this schools program, you can see you've got WIN, and obviously we're blessed to be right at the circuit as well. So there was like a natural correlation there. But they were like, we can use some of our halo effect and hopefully influence young girls to go, oh, actually, maybe I could consider a career in STEM. Because when they're going to do the test days, which is on that date, they've also got some of their ex-drivers and engineers and people like that who can speak to the students. Yeah. So they can kind of see a bit of the racing, which is the fun bit, but they can also see what goes into it. Yeah.
Because it is, it's amazing when you look at that F1 as an individual, as a driver, but obviously part of a team, and then the team is huge. It's far more than just the 20 or 30 people that are in the in the garages when the race is going on. It's everybody else that's back at base getting it ready. Yeah.
I think that the whole business park has been born out of that. I mean, not everybody on the business park serves F1, but it's all an ecosystem, right down from cable manufacturing and even like some of them. People have taken technologies to make green flywheel kind of batteries that operate, heavy cranes on building sites, and that's all come from F1 technology. So we're seeing this kind of like innovation circuit, and it's going right out towards kind of Milton Keynes way, and it's that cross county thing, isn't it? That's there's
perfectly positioned.
Perfectly positioned. Yeah.
So tell us about the growth of the vision of Silverstone Park then, because at the minute I touched on it earlier. Round figures, 90 occupiers. If you include the circuit staff, there's about 4,000. Mm-hmm. What does success look like in 5 years?
So we've got, we're building 2 new developments at the moment. We've got another 1.5 million square foot of planning consent kind of land that we're allowed to build on. So, I mean, it could potentially double in size over the next kind of 5 to 10 years. So for us, success is about.
I might finish the A43 by then.
Oh, that's success.
Such an optimist.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not bitter about it.
It's a serious point. I mean, success for us looks like that we've got a thriving business community, but we need the talent pool. And we need infrastructure as well. So those are two key things that are kind of we're leaning on kind of government and local authorities to help support with, because we can hopefully get the businesses there and attract that, but we need that talent pool, and we need people to be able to get there as well, because it is a little bit further out.
So that 1.5 million square foot, will they almost be like a replica of the park that you've already done in terms of size, or are there bespoke buildings that are going to be built within that?
Yeah, it's kind of, bespoke is kind of where we'd like to go. I mean, it could be one person comes in and says, would love to build something. It could be a number of people. So we've kind of got a bit of scope there at the moment. The next 2 phases of development are kind of units.
Well, Tesla do listen to this podcast, because I see it on the report from Lead Forensics that it tells me who's visited the podcast page. So, I'm saying Tesla. There obviously are other car manufacturers available, but
there we go. Very good. If Tesla comes to the park off the back of this, I'll
yeah,
definitely buy you a pint.
More than a pint.
Yeah, more than a pint, absolutely.
I think that skills and talent pool, though, is critical, isn't it, to any business environment and any forward-thinking area. And that kind of brings us back to that whole inclusion and why it's important to encourage women into STEM and technology, because there are just as many amazing, talented, genius innovators and inventors in the whole population, not just part of it. So, it's brilliant that you are able to combine those two things: schools, women, networking, connections, technology, and that real forward-thinking innovation.
What do you think is the biggest challenge then? What's the thing?
How long is this podcast?
Well, yeah.
I think it is that see it, be it thing. It is, as we were talking about, it is getting people who don't know what's possible to see it, to spark them and inspire them. So there's that. And then on the kind of the employer end, there is that serious look at yourself in terms of, are you really open and accessible to all? Is there anything you inadvertently do that might put some people off, not just women, but people for whom that isn't going to work with their life? And that's hard, really hard for successful businesses, because if you're already successful, why would you change it? But also hard for businesses that are going through change or struggling, because they're so busy doing that. So I think kind of two sides, supply and demand, isn't it? It's both of those sides of the coin.
I was just going to second what Julie was saying, and I think it's kind of also goes back to that piece we were talking about earlier. Is you do see a lot of women drop out after maternity leave. I've got 2 young children myself. It is hard to kind of get back into that world of work, and I think especially when you're in high performance and that sphere, it's full on. These guys work really long, guys and girls. It's not 9 to 5, and I think if you're a mum or a parent, full stop, it's tricky, because you've got to try and find a balance. So and then if those companies are successful, it's like, how do you balance that? So
does the park have good links with education establishments? I'm just thinking, if you're a 16, 17-year-old girl, you just finished, you got your GCSEs, you know that university isn't for you, but you're interested by technology. Silverstone appeals to you because of everything else that goes with it, and obviously the career opportunities just within Silverstone Park alone, I dare say, are fantastic in terms of being able to move from. I'm not saying moving from company to company, but you're going to be in and amongst that sector, if you like. Is there a natural path that you've got an alignment with one of the?
Yeah, so there are 2 kind of schools on site, specialist schools. So you've got the National College for Motorsport.
Yeah, that's part of the Tresham group, is that? Bedford College Group, sorry. Yeah,
Bedford, and then you've got, which is 4 times oversubscribed.
Wow.
And then you've got UTC, University Technical College. That's also 4 times oversubscribed. So yes, you've got 2 incredible campuses there, but they're so oversubscribed. So I think that's part of the visioning project, is what can we do to kind of expand
campus?
that. I mean, I think
we're
if
we're going to double it, if you're going to double in size over the next 5 to 10 years, it would lend itself to.
That would be ideal, wouldn't it? If you have R&D and that kind of element and things like that. I mean, that's all part of the ecosystem. I think you look at other areas like, the big ones like Oxford. I mean, that's all the spin outs off the back of university. Yeah,
and I'm not going to ask you to pick your favourite, because that would be unfair. But is there a company that really stands out on the park? Because I know a couple of them, And in fact, I was on the phone to one of them this morning, and they make components, but they're an R&D for a Japanese company. They make these components that then go into basically probably every building in this country has probably got one of these components in, but you would never know it.
Yeah.
But the R&D is done out of Silverstone Park, which I just find amazing.
Yeah.
Is there I say quirky, but have you got a company like that you could share with us that sort of springs to mind?
Oh, I can't be biased, but the one that stands out, but just because I had no idea about this kind of technology, and I'm like, is the one I was mentioning about Doomray with the flywheel. So they literally, I think that some of them are like ex-F1 engineers. They take that flywheel energy, and the way it was explained to me is that when a car goes around a track, it kind of, I mean, Julie might know this more than me, you can harness the energy and then release it. And they've taken that and they've put it into a battery pack that when a crane goes up, similar thing, it kind of harnesses the energy, and then it will take that energy and you can use it for other sites. So they've managed to take off all the diesel, huge big battery or diesel tanks off of building sites, and they can put these in. So one of these battery packs they've got them in London, and it's helped like emissions and things like that. So for me, I was like, I mean, I don't understand all the ins and outs, but I thought it was incredible. I know, exactly. It's the brains around F1, because it's got a lot of investment, but it's got a lot of great technology. And even whether you're an F1 fan or not, I mean, that is kind of like in the medical world, it stems new technologies.
What's that film called?
Doomray, Flybrid.
Sorry, you did say.
Yeah, or Damari, I might be saying that wrong. They're a German company,
Yeah, I mean, and if you don't know it, you don't know it, do you?
Yeah.
So that link to getting people in to see it is like fantastic. I mean, I don't know if you knew what you wanted to be, Ben, when you were at school, but many people don't.
No.
And you have no idea what's possible. So I think that is so exciting, the work that you're leading, Chantal, in kind of opening up the park for other people to come and see it and to come and see the possibilities is fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm going to look them up.
Yeah, come and have a visit. They're great. They've always got their doors open. They let the students come around, and they do really great experiments for the kids as well. They'll think outside the box to kind of get people interested, which I love as well.
Just the Win event on the 20th of April.
Yeah.
You mentioned schools are going as well.
Yeah.
How many schools have you got going?
6.
6.
Yeah, over 400 students.
What age group are they?
I think they're going to be year 8s, year 9s, 13, 14-year-olds, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
gonna be,
I'm going to hide in a cupboard. I'm going to be out. I'm excited, yeah. It's good.
We find the STEM event that Women Leaders organises, which is in Milton Keynes, the employers get such a buzz out of working with the young kids. And I think this year we had probably similar numbers, around 1,000. The first year we run one in Unity Place. We've typically always used Middleton Hall, which we're back in now, but we've done a couple at Middleton, at Unity Place, the Santander headquarters. And we had 1,500 kids arrived, just like ran wild, past Formula One cars, up in nifty lift type things, and and engaging with different tech employers. And honestly, and the younger ones are just a joy.
Yes.
Some of the old ones are a bit too cool for school, but secretly you can see they're really impressed.
Yes.
And it's what their first reaction to something and what they say, because they've got no bias, or they just say what they what they think and what they're seeing and what they're feeling, and they're sponges. They just soak it up, and that then leads me on to apprenticeships, which is why we're big fans of apprenticeships. I know you've got Khadija here today with you, who's probably going to be a budding apprentice. Maybe she's been shadowing you this week. But I think apprenticeships are is something that we should be really proud of as a country, because long gone are the days now, thankfully, that they were just being associated with maybe sort of trades and engineering. And now we've got so many wonderful apprenticeships and degree apprenticeships that can come into service-based businesses and into offices as well.
Yeah.
And I think our focus at Women Leaders is about obviously making these opportunities aware people and making women and girls available to them, but we don't bother about it saying it's girls only or it's women only. It's good for everybody to know that these things are there. And yes, we have other support packages to encourage and enable women, like the awards, like mentorship, like allyship programs. So we've kind of got some tools, if you like, that can help. But really, our motivation is about enabling more people to be successful and have fulfilling careers, and more holistically delightful lives in a kind of crazy altruistic way. So our STEM event isn't like yours. It isn't just for girls, but we know that by having it, we are bringing young female students into that world of STEM without excluding anybody else. We're also bringing young boys into the world of STEM who wouldn't have thought about it. That's great. That's win-win, to use your name.
Absolutely. That's brilliant.
So women's leaders.
Yes.
Hit us with the key dates, Julie.
Yes, well, we are launching the awards in March, on March the 24th. Invites and registration will go out shortly for that. This is the first year we haven't launched on International Women's Day. And why is that, I hear you ask? Why
you
would you
took
not
the
do it?
words right out of my mouth, Julie.
And what I'm thrilled to report is that when we started launching our awards on International Women's Day, we would be the one thing going on that people could go to. And now International Women's Day is a week of amazing events and activities, which is just fantastic. So we thought, no, we can just enjoy International Women's Day. And then after that, launch the event on the 24th of March when people are all fired up and inspired. So
where are we doing that?
We're doing it at Amy, a really fantastic tech company in Milton Keynes. They're kindly hosting it and supporting us with that. So that'll be great. And then the awards themselves, we've pushed them back a bit this year. We always take feedback, we always review. And we're actually doing them in July, the 16th of July this year. So back at the Doubletree again. And we're really excited. As I said earlier, we are expanding the entry region to include all of Northamptonshire and all of Buckinghamshire. We did explore with partners, should we do separate events in those areas? So we talked to the Chamber, we talked to Bucks Business First, we talked to a number of our employers who work across the region. And really brilliantly, everyone was like, no, we want to work together. We want to collaborate. We're one region. Come on, let's do this big together, which was such a fantastic message to hear. So we said, okay, let's do it. We might spin out into regional mentoring hubs or that kind of thing as we develop it. But at the moment, let's just do one thing. So we're a bit daunted. We always get a couple of 100 nominations anyway, and we're narrowing that down to 3 finalists in 14 categories. So in fact, I did look up how many working age women are there across our 2 regions, and it's probably north of 500,000. So, we don't need many of them to swamp us with nominations. And you can nominate your colleagues. It is about the individual, not the business, so that makes it a bit different from other business awards. You can nominate yourself. We really encourage people to do that because women typically don't put themselves forward. I think that's a bad thing, and we kind of want to squash that myth. So, we're looking forward to lots more nominations, an even more difficult job for all of our judges, and an even more amazing, fantastic, inspiring evening when we announce the winners in July.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Well, ladies, that brings us towards the end of this episode. But as Chantal, you rightly said at the beginning, you know what comes next, and that is, of course, your dinner guests. So I'd like you to share with us where you would go as your go-to place for dinner locally. Has to be an independent, no chains allowed, sorry chains. And then which 3 people are you taking with you? So Chantal, we're going to start with you. Give you a bit of thinking time, Julie.
Thank
you.
you.
So where are you going first of all?
Well, I have to say Escapade. I know we mentioned it briefly beforehand.
It is beautiful there.
It is beautiful. So for those that don't know, it's quite new. It's a couple of years old now, I think. But it's opposite the circuit, and food's incredible. It's kind of like an art gallery.
It's on the circuit.
It's on the circuit. Sorry,
It's
you can overlook the circuit, I should say. It's got terrace, but it's got like an art gallery inside, which I love,
and some funky memorabilia.
Yeah, it's really cool. So that's like a bit of a hidden gem. And because I love art massively, this is a bit of a random one, but I would want to take Mark Rothko, who's a famous abstract expressionist painter. Very random. My husband and I absolutely love his work. So it would be my husband, Mark Rothko, and then the lady I mentioned earlier, my Christine Kane, the Christian.
That's a lovely taste.
Lady, Wow. I think we'd have some deep conversations.
Yeah, you would.
We'd have to get some
setting as
decent
well.
whiskey. Yeah.
And a whiskey as well.
And a whiskey as well, why not? Yeah.
Julie?
Wow, that's mate. I'm going to sit at the next table and.
Oh, please, as well. Yeah, you're both invited.
So, of course, if it was a Tuesday or Thursday night, I would, without doubt, go to the Milton Keynes College student-run brasserie in Milton Keynes, which offers taster menus supervised by local top chefs. Really fantastic experience, great food, and of course, you're supporting the next generation of hospitality leaders. If it wasn't a Tuesday or a Thursday in term time, because that's when they open, then I would go to the place that really feeds me, which is Brasserie Blanc in Milton Keynes.
Yes.
When they closed for a refurb a few years ago and the colleague said, I'm sorry, we're going to be closed for 2 weeks, I literally said, but where will we eat? So, yeah, that's great. And my guests, well, building on your artistic theme, I would definitely bring Grayson Perry. I think he's Britain's greatest
Amazing, yeah.
artist, and anyone that watches, this is really showing you how highbrow I am, anyone that watches The Masked Singer will know that he was really brilliant on that too.
That one.
So yeah, definitely Grayson Perry. And
I was not expecting you to say that,
I
Julie.
thought you were going to go off on a real highbrow tangent
Take
there.
it off.
No, I think
Take
he's
it.
absolutely amazing. And I think I would pair him up with Harry Hill,
Oh, love
yes.
Harry Hill.
who, as well as being just hilarious, if you're getting an insight into my TV watching now, if you've ever watched Junior Bake Off,
Yes.
oh, it's the most delightful, heartwarming, lovely.
Does he host
TV.
it then?
He hosts.
Does he?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check
And,
that out.
Yeah, me too. I
It's-
love Harry Hill.
Yeah. So those two, and I don't know if there would be room for anyone else with those two there, but I think I'll take my husband too because he would also love that.
Mr. Mills has
Yes.
just made it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Ladies, I've loved this episode. Thank you ever so much. I think you're both truly inspiring. So keep, please, shouting your message loud from the rooftops and doing the great work that you're doing locally. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben.
you.